game journalists end up being some of the worst video game players I've ever seen. You've got journos who can't get out of tutorial phases, ones who say, I'm good at games, yet demand things like very easy modes get added to them, and IGN decided to put up one of the worst pieces of gameplay I've seen since Dean Takahashi tried to play Cuphead, and everyone is roasting them on it. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon or a supporter via YouTube memberships. So this is a DualShockers article. Redfall's latest gameplay trailer is getting a lot of hate on YouTube. A recent YouTube gameplay video of the highly anticipated Redfall on IGN First has attracted a considerable amount of negative dislikes and critical comments. The players are currently divided into two camps: the astonished group, those who are surprised by the lackluster performance of the player, and the disappointed group, those who are appalled by the shoddy quality of the game itself. Now, of course, game journalists get early access to titles. Outlets like IGN get, in some cases, a few months early previews of the game, and that is what happened here. They are finally slowly releasing gameplay to consumers, putting it on things like YouTube. IGN happened to get this early preview to show their audience, and clearly in the playthrough that they're doing, there are 4 players, meaning they probably recorded all 4 perspectives, and people are baffled as to why they would pick this individual's point of view to show off the game, because not only does it make the game look worse, but it makes IGN look worse. They are hiring people who don't understand video games, who can't do simple things like aim at targets. And we're not just talking about like 1 or 2 minor mistakes, right? Because even the best video game players make mistakes at times, especially when you're playing a new game, you're kind of getting into the swing of things. But in this case, it is many minutes of mistakes after mistakes after mistakes, and it just makes them look awful. I personally do not trust game journalists. I play games myself. I look into situations myself, because unfortunately a lot of them are just bad at their job and are extremely biased, as I've talked about many times. But this situation is on a completely different level. Now, heading on over to the YouTube channel of IGN, it has 17 million subscribers, and all they could get was 135,000 views in 3 days. But looking at the likes to dislikes, it is not looking good for them. It is currently sitting at 1.4k likes to 16,000 dislikes. Now, judging the content here for just a minute, the game itself does look pretty mediocre. We have seen a lot of like team-based shooters release over the past few years, especially that are zombie themed or vampire themed. This is vampire themed, and it just doesn't look very different. When you're releasing a game that has a very similar concept to a lot of other titles, you need it to be unique and you need it to be different, and this game just isn't. It still has a month until release, and this game has been delayed, so maybe they're planning on delaying it again, but it wouldn't make sense why they're starting to release gameplay. So this is going to be the final product besides some minor, tweaks. But what is here just doesn't look all that impressive, at least to me, as someone who plays a lot of games throughout a year time span. I've played so many games in my life. This just looks like another average title. I'm hoping that I will be pleasantly surprised, because I do plan to play it since it is going to Game Pass day one. It is a title that I have had some kind of interest in. But scrolling down, reading the comments, because of course people are also roasting the gameplay, let's focus on what this video is really about. Absolutely roasting game journalists, because this is really pathetic. I gotta give IGN credit for making any game they play excruciating to watch. Honestly, the fact that IGN chose to show this gameplay perspective instead of anyone else's genuinely makes me wonder how they all did compare to this guy. Absolutely hilarious. It was really neat seeing this person play a video game for the first time in his or her life. When you give your little brother the controller. This is how the term journalist difficulty got invented. This comment right here has to be my favorite. This is so wholesome. I'm assuming it was bring your kid to work day at the IGN offices, and they decided to let the kids play when they recorded the gameplay footage. I mean, come on. What did they expect? Did nobody, pre-watch this footage and be like, maybe we shouldn't release this? A user had linked a timestamp of this individual missing 8 shots on a giant boss. I just don't understand how they can be this bad at video games. They clearly are aiming towards the boss, they clearly have a decent weapon, and they miss 8 shots. I get that, he's kind of behind the house here, but the boss is literally running towards him and he still can't make it. And people are also pointing out how at a point in this video, he goes into a garage and pulls out a sniper rifle. That is just peak freaking comedy. I mean, this person just doesn't understand video games. It's like it's their first time playing one. And I'm sure you all remember the Dean Takahashi Cuphead situation that, of course, this reminds me of. Let's look at the ratio over here. Of course, this was 5 years ago, but it has 22,000 likes to 48,000 dislikes, and a lot of the comments on this video are very similar to the Redfall situation, so it just kind of seems like history is repeating itself. And even though this isn't Dean Takahashi playing Redfall, this journalist is going viral for all the wrong reasons. This gameplay video just kind of shows why I don't like game journalists, why I don't trust them, because they can't even play the games that they are reviewing or talking about. And this just makes journalists look even freaking worse than they already did. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.